Good afternoon, folks. It is now 1 o'clock and we are back from recess, and I'm calling this meeting back into session. Rhonda, will you please take the roll call?
Commissioner Buck? Commissioner Schroeder?
Here.
Commissioner McDaniel?
Here. Thank you. First item we have up here is the Goodman rezoning for RZ-2023-00026. I would accept a motion to open the public hearing.
Yeah, I make a motion to open a public hearing for the Goodman rezone, RZ 2023-00026.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. Mark?
Yes.
Your floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Mark Dedenrader, Director of Community and Economic Development. The Goodman rezone was originally heard by the Planning Commission on April 1st. It was continued to May 6th. For the Board of County Commissioners, it was originally scheduled for today for you to hear this case, obviously, and we asked to have you hear the case, Goodman rezone, that is, on May 14, 2025, please.
All right, I ask for a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion to continue the Goodman rezone, RZ 2023-00026, to a date and time certain of May 14th, 2025 at 1 p.m.
Second.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, next item, accept a motion to open a public hearing on the Shaw rezoning, RZ 2024-2571.
Did you close the first one?
I'm sorry?
Did you close the first one?
No, we're not going to close the first one. It's going to continue.
Okay.
Thank you. In the Shaw rezone, RZ 2024-2571, I'll accept a motion to open public hearing.
Mr. Chair, I move that we open a public hearing on the Shaw rezone RZ 2024-2571.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. All right, we have a land use planner, Danny Kilborn, here.
Yes. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Danny Klebanner, and I'm a land use planner here for the Community and Development Services Department. I'll be presenting the Shaw rezone, and that is case RZ-2024-2571. This site is located at 25715 County Road 5 in Elbert, Colorado, with a zip code of 80106. The site is approximately 40 acres, and the request here will be a rezone from agriculture to agriculture residential. The applicant is Tracy Aaron on behalf of property owner Dane Shaw. The project timeline for this, they had a pre-application meeting back in July of 2022 and completed a community meeting shortly after that in August 23 of 2022. They did not formally submit the application until May 23 of 2024, and that was due primarily to the applicant getting an augmentation plan for the property and getting their exhibits prepared, so there were some delays there. The initial referral period was from May to June of 2024. All notice requirements have been met per Elbert County zoning regulations. With public hearing noticing, posting in Ranchland News, on-site sign posting, and a quarter-mile mailing. All right, so during the public community meeting, there were 9 residents, and that did not include the applicant or the representative. Residents were both in support and opposed, primarily opposed, with comments ranging from the desire for the area to remain rural, concerns about increases in traffic and road conditions, and while a couple others supported if laws and regulations were followed. 4 members of the public also spoke during the Planning Commission hearing in opposition of the rezone. Those comments included concerns about County Road 5 traffic and road maintenance, road safety issues, population growth, and noticing radius size. A neighbor advocated for a larger noticing area and water use. This property is generally located west of the community of Elbert. You can see it with that little yellow star there on this zoomed out map. It's generally between County Road 98 and County Road 106 on County Road 5. It's about 6 miles west of Elbert and 1 mile east of the Elbert-Douglas County line. Here is a look at the zoning map of the area. To the north, you have the Ingalls minor subdivision with 10-acre lots that was recently approved and recorded in January of this year. To the south, you have agricultural property of 40 acres, east agriculture with 2 40-acre parcels with a residential land use, and to the west, 40-acre agricultural parcel with a residence. As you can see, that kind of larger purple block down there is the Kelly Air Park, located to the southeast. And that's PUD zoning. So the lighter green is agriculture residential zoning, the darker green is agricultural zoning, and the purple is PUD zoning. Here's an aerial look at the property with that little red star there. I'll zoom in a little closer. Here's the property outlined with a green box. As you can see, there's an existing building on the property. Here's a look at street level of the property. So finally, here's an overview of the rezone exhibit. The entire 40-acre parcel is being proposed to be rezoned to agriculture residential. Again, there's an existing outbuilding on the property which will remain. All comments have been addressed during the referral period. The main delay in this had to do with the minor plat and some cash in lieu questions with the applicant, but nothing really came up on the rezoning except for minor alterations and easement additions on the exhibit. Here's a little bit of background from the Planning Commission discussion. The Planning Commission voted in favor with 4 yes and 2 no. The vote was for approval with conditions, and the conditions were to add the title commitment document, add a new affidavit for sign posting, add a Ranchland News affidavit to the agenda packet. So all of those requirements were met for your agenda packet with the new sign posting affidavit, and that has to do with our language. Staff is figuring that out, but they did comply with that requirement, and the sign posting affidavit is correct, and all of the requirements from the Planning Commission were added. One planning commissioner also emailed to give a little more detail on her response. The Commissioner, Diana Edstrom, wanted a couple more pieces of background information added, and that was that the packet was missing documents and was incomplete, and the list and map of property owners and addresses had incorrect owners and owner mailing addresses, which made me question if the meeting was properly noticed. And I believe that was in reference to a radius report that was in the formal application, and there is a more current radius report that was used for the noticing, but that was the original report with that formal application. So wanted to give a little background on that. So for the approval criteria, these are summarized here. Elbert County Zoning Regulations, Article 3C4 has the following 6 criteria for all rezone requests. A, it is consistent with the goals and policies of Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. This proposal does conform and is generally consistent with the goals of the Comprehensive Plan and supports the vision that Elbert County, being rich in heritage, has a vision where Property rights are respected in agriculture, commerce, and industry residential growth are encouraged. The proposed rezoning conforms with Residential Development Goal 1. Among the other residential development goals, Residential Goal 1 states new residential development should cover all costs of on and off-site roads and utilities required to meet the associated demands of that development. B, it is compatible with surrounding land uses. The intent of agriculture residential zone is to permit a mix of agricultural uses and/or private residences. There are 4 10-acre lots directly north of the property in the Ingalls subdivision, and agricultural zoning surrounds the other sides of the property. The area is a mix of larger agricultural and residential properties, along with the smaller lot Kelly Air Park subdivision, about a quarter-mile south of the subject property. That subdivision has properties ranging from 3 to 6 acres. This rezoning to agriculture residential is compatible with the surrounding land uses and should not negatively impact land uses in the area. C, this application will not adversely impact public services. This development will provide additional driveways to serve 2 lots. The other lot will be served by the existing private driveway connecting to County Road 5. There will be no adverse impacts to the public services in the area. Driveway access will be constructed to Elbert County Public Works standards. This rezoning will not adversely impact the environment. This rezoning will not adversely impact the environment. Building permit review and septic review for on-site waste treatment systems with public health can identify any site-specific environmental factors upon development on the property. The Division of Water Resources reviewed the proposed water supply and deemed it adequate. E, it will not create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden existing road systems. The additional 2 proposed lots are not believed to create unreasonable traffic burdens to the existing road system, with the road and bridge foreman commenting 12 additional average daily traffic trips is not going to negatively impact the roads. F, it will not be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. This development conforms well with the agricultural and residential mix in the area. So, based on the review of the approval criteria found in Elbert County Zoning Regulations Article 3C4 and the findings in the staff report, the Planning Commission recommends approval with conditions of the Shaw rezone. Planning Department staff find the proposed rezoning is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. The proposed rezoning meets all the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. The proposed rezoning meets the requirements for conventional residential development in the Elbert County subdivision regulations, and the proposed rezoning will not significantly impact the health, safety, and well-being of the residents and landowners in the surrounding area. So with that, here are the conditions, and the prior conditions from Planning Commission were satisfied. The applicant will be required to remove the public hearing signs within 7 days of a decision by the Board of County Commissioners. The rezone will not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the rezone exhibit is recorded. And 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation is to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners approval. So that concludes my presentation for Shaw rezone, case RZ 2024-2571. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here today? Invite you up. Hi.
Tracy Aaron, 11950 County Road 174 in Kiowa. and thank you for having me. I do appreciate the time. Thank you for hearing this application. Thank you, Danny. Here I am.
All right, so we'll see if any of the commissioners have any questions for you. So Commissioner Buck?
I actually would ask to put the slide back up that showed the overview of the different lots and the, I think you know it's that one, thank you. Right off of Kelly Air Park there, those are 3 to 6 acre lots. In the yellow, right to the east, or actually it's probably the west of that, but the Cave Spring Road right there, what size lots are those? Do we know?
I don't know offhand. I know I looked at a couple of them, so I know a couple are around 10, and then it looks like a couple are larger than 10. But they are in that agricultural residential zone.
Okay. I just wanted to put that back up there and clarify that a little bit. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Mr. Schroeder? All right. Are there any citizen comments? Okay. Ma'am, you can have a seat and we'll
Thank you,
come
gentlemen.
back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whoever wants to go first, come on up. If you would, state your name, your address, and you got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Danny, for a comprehensive report. I'm Dee Valdez Pepper, 25134 County Road 5. I have lived at that address for 6 years, and in the course of those 6 years, during COVID, there was not a whole lot of driving, but before and after that, there was a tremendous increase. There's been a threefold increase in the traffic on our street. With every little change, every modification, the yellow above the star was not approved when this was originally proposed 2 years and 8 months ago. It did not exist, so there wasn't anything adjacent to it that was 10 acres. With every change, there is additional traffic on our road. I talked to Commissioner Schroeder about a development where there's 10 40-acre lots, 38-ish acre lots. That is off of County Road 106. They will come up onto County Road 5 and go their direction. The problem with County Road 5 is that after the flooding we had 3 years ago or 2 years ago, the road has been graded so it's much taller. It will very much handle excessive rain and flooding, but it's a much narrower road. Right after the grading began, we had an enormous trash truck that just hit the edge of the road just ever so slightly and almost turned over. It had to be extracted from the side of the road. Shortly thereafter, we had an accident where a small car just hit that shoulder just a little bit because they were probably driving like they always have driven there, and they rolled their vehicle. So when there's 10 acres or 10 new homes added to the neighborhood, there's no one's required to improve the road. When there's 2 new homes added, no one's required to improve the road. When this other yellow subdivision was subdivided from 40 acres into these 10-acre lots, they were not required to improve the road. My question is, at what point will the road be improved? Will the road be widened to be able to accommodate the traffic and the growth in that area? Yes, we don't have as much traffic as people in the city, or people in town. I guess this is town, not the city. But it is dramatically different, and I feel like we're the forgotten children out there, because nobody is requiring any improvements in the road. The other reality is that the notification was, the notification for the development with the 10 acres, none of us in this room got notification about it. Why the heck were we not notified that there was going to be a very big change in our neighborhood? So I would very much like to request, and I thank you, Danny, for including this in your notes, that the notification area out in the country has to be substantially larger. Because from what I understand from Tracy, only 12 people had to be notified of this change. We only knew of 3. So that's one of the requests. The other thing is that the zoning meeting, the original neighborhood zoning meeting was 2 years and 8 months ago. As far as I'm concerned, that's a ridiculously long amount of time. The two other subdivisions that were proposed at the Planning Commission meeting had been much more recent, and the planning commissioners voted that they needed to have a more recent public hearing or notifications, rezoning meeting in the neighborhood. That has not been done. The other thing is that was revealed during the Planning Commission meeting is that nobody has done a study on the traffic impact. There has been no study. So this is where I disagree with the assessment, the evaluation that Danny presented, is that there will be no impact on the environment. There will be no traffic impact. How do we know? No one's done a study out there. All of us can just tell you that the road is much more narrow and much more dangerous to drive. And if we keep adding 2 homes and 10 homes and 9 homes and 8 homes, one of our neighbors counted 38 new homes will be in that area within the next 18 months. 38 homes times 2 people driving at least, that's a lot of increased traffic. And at some point, I mean, I've asked somebody from the Planning Commission, will it take 1 death on that road to have the county improve the road? Will it take 2 deaths? Does it have to be the death of an adult and a child?
Commissioners, that's 5 minutes.
Or at what point is this going to be addressed? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
I'm Joe Pepperdee's husband. We are catty corner to the proposed property. To the south and east. We're just catty corner right to it. I've owned the property since 2008. The neighborhood has changed quite a bit. In addition to what Dee said, I would just like to understand more clearly, if we're going to take each 40-acre property and 4X it, or 3X the footprint, the water, the driving, the utilities, and everything else, as we're seeing this moving down the road, where is the aquifer study? Where is the aquifer mandate? In which one do you tap? What will be the draw on that versus the percolation rate of the replenishment of those aquifers? This is a large area, and when you go 3X and 4X down the road, you're talking about a significant draw on all of that. So just to add to what Dee said, we'd like the area to stay 40 acres. Of course we would. But the impact of utilities, I think, is a one-off for each proposal when it really needs to be considered in a more global fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Sir?
My name is Ben Newart, and I live on the air park. And the comment was made that this will have no impact on the well-being of the people in the area and the neighborhood. Kelly Air Park has been under pressure for many years from people complaining about the airplane noise. And those complaints are documented. I'd like to remind everybody that Kelly Air Park is a Federal Aviation Administration sanctioned airport and follows all those federal rules. Those complaints have resulted in having to change traffic patterns in order to satisfy the people who were the loudest on these complaints, who bought knowing there is an airport there. And it's the same old story. They can't, I don't believe they can win cases because if this is airport is under federal aviation regulations, therefore federal law. By dividing this property now, you're setting a precedent of smaller and smaller and smaller lots, which is many, many more people. The airport doesn't have the budget to fight these things. And by saying that it has no impact on the well-being, it certainly has a large impact on the airport. In that at some point, we cannot fight the number of people crowding in and complaining about airplanes. The air traffic pattern is now restricted to the west side of the runway, where nearly all other airports in the country, you can have right-hand, left-hand traffic, either side. We're pushed to one side to satisfy the people on the other side. We got no place else to go. Any more restrictions on traffic patterns are going to impact safety. So I'd like it to go on the record that this will have an impact and will eventually squeeze Kelly Airpark out of here, which is a good revenue producing area. This setting of a precedent to start subdividing into these small lots is going to have a serious impact on the airport. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments, sir?
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Sutphin, 1777 County Road 86. I live just south of the airpark, and I did not receive a notice. I could have missed it, but I don't believe that the area that is sent notices is quite large enough, and those of us that don't take the paper wouldn't see it. Maybe there's an opportunity to make that a bit more logical. In the statement earlier about this map, the gentleman said that it was compatible with the surrounding land uses. I'm just going to take a couple of different hats here. If I'm a developer, they always look like it's compatible, right?
Right.
And I'm not sure why that particular part of the process doesn't invite us early on, because all we ever hear is that it's compatible. That's subjective. No ifs, ands, or buts, it's subjective. So who makes that decision? Did you get in on that? That's a rhetorical question. I know that you didn't. So as a developer, yeah, it's compatible. And if I'm somebody that wants to live out in the country but doesn't want to or cannot afford a 40-acre parcel or larger, then that looks great. That's compatible. But if you look at the colors, the major color there, it's not compatible with smaller acreages. So I just want to point out that there are a lot of us out there that don't see that as being a compatible land use. An analogy would be something like, 1960, I go and take a water test in Lake Michigan and say, well, it's a comparable water test to Lake Erie. They're both toxic. It's flood logic. I think that's closer to a rubber stamp here than it is actual, mitigation effects. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comments, sir?
Yeah, I'm Scott English. I live at 24940 Cave Spring Trail. There's 3 10s there, and then 2 20s, and 2 17.5s right there in the yellow. And I live in the second one in, then the 10. Now, I built my house in 2021. My land came with no water. It's a subdivision. Do these come out with water? Are they supposed to have water, these, when they subdivide? And then I'd like to know, when I drive this, between the private road 104 and Ben Kelly, which is the north side of Kelly Air Park. That road, County Line 5, is dangerous, that section. I've never seen a road like that. When I drive in Elbert, Douglas, there's not a road like that.
Can you repeat that? Where was that exactly? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's between private road 104 and Ben Kelly, which is the north road of right there. That section, I wish you guys would look at, because it is the most dangerous road there is. You can drive south on 5, no problem. There's nothing like that. But that one area is bad. Also, I know when you make a subdivision, you need to have electric for everybody. And I'm hoping that they do. As I said, my land came with no water. How did that happen? It's a subdivision. And mine was the only one that came with no water. So I want to make sure that these lands come with water. Now, right on the other side of the yellow, there's a green on the curve there. Down below, right there, no, right up, right there. That guy split his land into 10 and a 25. But he doesn't have water for that 10 yet. So he can't get through here, through the final step, because he doesn't have the water to do that land. But he's already gone through first phase, and he can't get the thing until the HOA gives him the water on that, which is going to be up in the air. But anyways, I need to know what's the next step here and what's going to happen as far as making that into 410s, or is that 310s? Is it 410s, right?
Yes.
On it. And so that's my whole thing is, as they say, the one up above that, north, they didn't even look at the road, because that road they would not be okay if they don't have the money to make up the road. We have to rebuild the road there, and somebody has to pay for it. And normally, in Douglas County, they're waiting on some of the dirt roads for people to sell, because they have to supply the money to build that road. And that's the only thing I'm saying. But I'd like to know what's coming up, your next step on that.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Roberta. Last name is Sutton. I live at 1777 County Road 86. I just need to my questions or my thoughts are, what's the next steps? How can we participate, and how can we be notified? And that's all I have, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, at this time we'll give the applicant an opportunity to respond to any of the comments that have been made, if she so desire.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments and for sharing your concerns. I do respect your comments, and I do understand. I'm a homeowner out here in Elbert County as well, and I do have pictures of the notifications that were sent out, and I do know, Ms. Pepper Valdez, that you did receive your notification. It was in Joseph Valdez's name because that's what comes up on the radius report. Joseph Valdez? Yes. Joseph Pepper, my apologies. That's who it was addressed to, as the homeowner, so. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. We did follow all, I did follow all mailing notification procedures, obtaining a current radius report from the assessor's office, did utilize that and make sure that everyone on that radius report, I got the list and the map, and made sure that all those were sent out at the appropriate time. I do have an email from back in 2023 from Jay Wall, Road and Bridge Foreman at the time. I'm not sure what's, because it is, his response was because it's 3 lots and at most it would be the large lot has its own access, and the 2 10-acre lots would have their own access or even a shared driveway, and figuring 2 vehicles per day per address, that's 6 cars times 2 trips per day. Per 12 additional ADT is not going to affect the roads. As far as the drainage study, that area is flat and 2 additional houses would not create any drainage issues. So I do not see this as needed. This was in regards to the traffic letter, traffic study. It was also reviewed by Monty Hankins as well in conjunction with Jay. So I have that information. As for the intent of the landowner that I'm representing, more than likely the front 10-acre lot that is right up against County Road 5 may well be the only lot that he sells. He's keeping, and just to clarify any confusion, it is a 40.096 acre lot. He is keeping the 20 acres with the existing building on it, and I'm proposing the additional 2 10-acre lots, the other half of it to be cut into 2 10+ acre lots. So the back 10, he's more than likely going to consider keeping as a hayfield. He's really not looking to develop and sell and, you know, do all this. At the time he started all this, there were personal reasons that he was going to need to sell a lot. Things have changed a little bit. He's not in a big rush, but he's lived there for many years and respects the area as well and doesn't want to cause any major problems to his neighborhood. He's lived there for a very long time. So is there anything I can answer for you? Did I provide everything that you can think of?
Is there any other questions from commissioners?
No questions for applicant.
Okay. Again, I do thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Right.
And staff as well.
We have additional questions, Commissioner Bolt?
Yeah, I do. I actually want to address some of the concerns from the speakers that spoke today. We are rectifying the time frame for public meetings. We are putting that into our guidelines moving forward. It's in front of the Planning Commission now to get their recommendation, and then it'll come before the board. That's going to be changed. So I just want to let you guys know that, as well as we're looking at the distance requirements, especially for some of these larger subdivisions. And, you know, you got 2,000 homes going in and you have a distance requirement of 1,300 feet. Now, that needs to be at least double that. The impact is huge. So that radius needs to be larger. So we're also looking at that. So I just want to let you guys know some of your concerns are being addressed going forward. The other one that was mentioned was compatible. Okay? That is open to interpretation. Now, we are tightening that up with language to say compatible and consistent, and possibly with consistent with adjacent zoning. So we are addressing some of those concerns going forward. So I just wanted you guys to know that. But when I look at this particular application, the applicant is asking for a zoning request that is less dense than the adjacent property. That to me isn't an extreme or an abnormal request. We have some other 10s down below to the south. Kelly Airport Park is 3 to 6 acres. So that compatible issue, it's there. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just saying that's open to interpretation. That whole compatible issue is open to interpretation. The other thing is, I drove that road yesterday. I went down, drove it. I brought a tape measure. I knew the roads were a concern. I brought my tape measure. 106 was being graded. I did talk to Monty Hankins. You know, you've had some road issues in the past. I've driven a lot of county roads out here. I didn't have to get out of my car and measure, but I know there's a lot of county roads in Elbert County that aren't that great. So there wasn't anything that's made me jump out or look and say, hey, this is dangerous, this is extreme, we have a serious problem here, and maybe I'm wrong. I drove down 106 to County Road 5, all the way down past Kelly Air Park through there with the tape measure, looking for something to get out and kind of verify what those roads look like. So I'm doing my due diligence, guys. I even studied the water, did the math, make sure that the water was there. I think I even talked to Monty Hankins and said, hey, what do you think of the road? What's the plan for the road? And I think I did everything I can. That's all I have.
Commissioner Schroeder? All right. I've got a question. Has there been a traffic study?
For this?
Yeah.
For this proposal, there was not a traffic study.
Is that because of being remote, or?
Because of the number of lots proposed and the limited impact, they requested from Public Works, and then that goes through the department heads.
Okay, and then the notification area, how big? So a lot of people say they didn't get a notification. How big is the area that was?
So the area is a quarter mile, 1,320 foot radius from the edges of the property, and that is our notification radius.
Thank you. All right, that's all the questions we have. So at this point, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Shaw Rezone RZ 2024-2571.
Is there a second?
With the conditions as presented, sorry.
No problem. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor, sign of aye.
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 And I'm going to vote no. Motion carried. All right, I accept a motion now to close this public hearing.
Mr. Chair, I move we close the Shaw Rezone public hearing RZ 2024-2571.
Second.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
All right, this public hearing is closed. All right. Next item is the Cook Rezone RZ 2024-2439. I'll accept a motion to open a public hearing.
I make a motion to open a public hearing for the Cook Rezone RZ 2024-2439.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Danny, you're on a hot seat again.
Thank you, Commissioners. This will be a presentation on Cook Rezone case RZ-2024-2439. Here's a project summary. The site is located at 24395 Main Street in Elbert, Colorado 80107. The site size for this request is 0.276 acres, which is just over 12,000 square feet. And the request is to rezone that area from commercial to residential 2. The subject property is approximately 0.6 acres, and the applicant and landowner is Oliver Cook. This project began in May of last year, May 15th, with a pre-application meeting. There was a community meeting held June 26th of 2024, and the formal application was submitted October 16th of last year. The original Planning Commission was March 4th, and that was rescheduled due to weather to April 1st. And here we are today, April 9th, for the Board of County Commissioners hearing. All public notice requirements were satisfied with posting in Ranchland News, quarter-mile radius mailing, and on-site sign posting. For the community meeting, there was one resident and no other attendees besides the CDS staff member and the applicant. The other attendant attended the meeting thinking it was for a different project, and no comments were submitted for the Planning Commission agenda for that community meeting or during the Planning Commission meeting. So no further public comment has been received on this rezone request. This property is located within the community of Elbert, which is about 10 miles southwest of Kiowa and about 12 miles southeast of Elizabeth. You can see it there with that little yellow star. Here's a closer look, an aerial view of the property. There's an existing residence on the western portion of that property, and the eastern half, the former commercial pad, is currently vacant. Here's a look at the zoning map with the property outlined and a red star in the middle of it. It is currently zoned commercial. It has several different surrounding zoning uses, including other commercial, a larger lot residential to the rear, industrial, and to the west there's that larger residential agriculture property, which is a 13.25 acre property with a residence. This is right in the center of town and across the street from South 40 Bar and Grill. Here's a street view look of the property. It shows the vacant front and the residence in the background, which is partially obscured by the trees there. Here's a look at the rezone exhibit. That area in red is the area that's proposed to be rezoned, and there's an existing residence there that's outlined by the blue box. Again, about half the parcel, 0.027 acres of the 0.58 acres is proposed to be rezoned to residential 2. There is an existing residence on the property which will remain, and the remaining area on that eastern half with just the black box, that will remain in the commercial zone. During Planning Commission, there was a vote for approval with conditions, with 5 planning commissioners voting yes and 1 voting no. Prior to the vote, there was a brief discussion about the history of the application, some surprise from a commissioner that this commercial lot was not, 2 separate lots from the start based on taxes. So staff clarified that tax assessment and zoning and platting are not necessarily consistent. One commissioner voted against recommending approval due to an issue with the sign posting affidavit, and the conditional approval from Planning Commission included updating the sign posting affidavit. That new sign posting affidavit was added to the agenda packet for this meeting. So all comments have been addressed from the referral period. That included a referral with Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, Colorado Geological Survey, Elbert Fire, Mountain View Electric Association, Colorado Division of Water Resources, Elbert School District 200, and several other departments within the county. The main delay in this application was due to information that didn't necessarily exist or needed to be updated from the Elbert Water and Sanitation District. So they were able to get that information to the Division of Water Resources. So moving forward, this will actually be helpful for applicants within the community of Elbert because the state has more information about that water district and the wells that serve it, which they didn't have for a long time. So again, Article 3C4 from Elbert County zoning regulations contains 6 criteria for approval of all rezone requests. The first is A, the rezone is consistent with the goals and policies of Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. This rezone is consistent with Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. Elbert County supports residential development by encouraging a range of lot sizes. The residential 2 zone will allow for future commercial development by keeping a portion of the lot commercial while allowing for the existing residents to remain. Keeping a portion of the lot commercial is also supported by the goals of the comprehensive plan. Commercial development should be encouraged where access to road, water, and sewer and suitable topography exist. Historically, this property has had the commercial use and it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. B, this rezone will be compatible with surrounding land uses. This rezone is, in our opinion, compatible with the surrounding land uses. The surrounding property is in the heart of the community of Elbert and is surrounded by residential, commercial, business, and industrial zoning. The rezoning is compatible with the community of Elbert. C, this rezoning will not adversely affect the provision of public services. And the residence is already served by Elbert Water and Sanitation, so there will be no change there, and they have sufficient infrastructure to support this. D, this rezone will not adversely impact the environment. There should be no adverse impacts to the rezoning to residential 2 to the environment. Finally, E and F. E, this rezoning will not create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. The addition of the proposed lot is not believed to create unreasonable traffic burdens to the existing road system. Public Works did not identify any improvements that would need to be made to Main Street, and the historical land use of this lot included commercial and residential land uses. Finally, F, this will not be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of Elbert County residents, present and future. Staff believe that this rezoning to residential 2 will not be detrimental to the county's residents' health, safety, or welfare, and there were no outstanding concerns. Based on the review of approval criteria found in Elbert County zoning regulations, Article 3C4, and the findings in the staff report, the Planning Commission recommends approval with conditions for the Cook rezone. Those conditions were satisfied for this meeting. The findings, staff recommend, Planning Commission determined the following, and they determined that the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. The proposal meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. The proposal is generally compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. And 4, the proposal will not have significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. The conditions for approval are that the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing signs within 7 days of a decision by the Board of County Commissioners. The rezone will not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the rezone exhibit is recorded. And 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation is to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners approval. That concludes my presentation for Cook rezone. Thank you. This is case RZ 2024-2439. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to invite the applicant up.
Yes, my name is Elbert Cook. I live at 24412 Main Street, Elbert, Colorado. And I thank everyone for their assistance in helping me get this before the board.
All right, thank you, sir. Are there any questions for this gentleman from the board?
Not at this time.
Not now.
I think you're getting off light. All right. Are there any public comments? All right. And with that said, sir, thank you. You can have a seat. All right. Any additional questions or comments from the board? Okay. With that, I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the Cook rezone RZ 2024-2439 with the conditions listed.
Second.
All approved, sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And with that, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
There is one more item.
Okay.
So the final item is a formal request from the applicant, Oliver Cook, to waive the fee for open space land use based on the historical nature of the property. And basically, staff can receive formal requests, and it is up to the Board of County Commissioners to determine how to act in these situations if they want to waive or reduce any type of fee.
So, can you elaborate a little bit more on that so we know what we're talking about?
Yes, and I can let the applicant go first, and then if there's
Okay.
any additional detail, I can share.
All right.
This is my formal request for the waiver, and it's my situation is unique because prior uses of property included a residential lot with a house that was built back in 1971 and a commercial lot with a building that was a Skelly station and garage that was built back in the late 1820s or early 30s is the best that I could find on when that building was built. The residential lot is currently developed with a single-family residence, and the commercial lot is currently vacant, as I had the building demolished because it was old and falling in, and they had students going in there smoking and drinking. So I had the building taken down. And platting of the community of Elbert did not include both lots on the Fricks Edition plat, and that is the reason that I applied for a minor subdivision. I'd like to request that the 4% fee be waived for my project.
Okay. Commissioner Boakey, any questions?
Well, I don't have a question. My only concern is if we set a precedent that we waive one applicant's fee and we didn't waive another applicant's fee, we kind of run into some issues there. That would be my concern.
Mr. Schroeder?
I share that. I have some additional questions, though. It does look like this is a unique situation, particularly when we're talking about cash in lieu spaces. This isn't growing a lot by any means or taking into account any additional lots. And so I can understand the desire here that there's really not the impact there for the cash in lieu. My question, I guess, would be, as we looked through the packet earlier, the taxes that you've been charged, been assessed. Just to clarify, you were being assessed at what we just did as far as a rezone. You had part that was residential and part that was commercial.
Since I've owned the property, they've charged me residential property taxes on the residential part and commercial on the commercial part of the property.
Okay, and so this is just formally making that there's two parcels. I know we've got problems in the town of Elbert. I'm very familiar with what down there. We've worked on that for a long time, trying to get through that. And so if I understand your letter here right, on the Frick's plat, it just showed one lot for what we now have 2 lots?
Right, it only showed one. When I bought it from Louis McGinnis, and I guess I didn't realize it was all one lot. He was selling the residential and the commercial Skelly Station all as one package, and I thought it was 2 lots. I didn't realize it wasn't 2 lots till I went to sell the residential, and the county said, you can't do that, it's all one lot.
So to interrupt, did you then subdivide it into 2 lots at that point when you found that out? Because now you have 2 parcel numbers, you have 2 account numbers, and you got 2 addresses, so it's obviously 2 lots.
I just started this process of splitting this lot within the last year when I had put it up for sale, the residential.
So there's 2 addresses, there's just 1 parcel. So it is just considered 1 lot, even though it had the existing residential in Elbert County. It has only been 1 lot.
What about the 2 parcel numbers, though? How does that work?
They had an address for the residential as 24395, and for the commercial, they've had an address at 24403 Main Street. And there was 2 different tax numbers.
Yeah, I see that. But I have 24349 Main Street and then 24395.
So only part of the lot is getting rezoned to residential. So that's a division that he's making through this rezone. The rezone allows him to do the subdivision. So those lots don't exist yet.
You're right, that is
I got those out.
349.
Yeah,
24403 was the lot to the north that I just sold.
Yeah, because I got that off of the tax receipts for the taxes being paid. So it looked like there was 2 lots already in existence.
So this was initiated by you because you were wanting to sell one of the lots? Correct. Okay.
Any other comments, Joe?
No. Otherwise, we would never know anything about it.
All right. Gentlemen, do you want to make a motion on this?
This is splitting the baby type deal. I appreciate the applicant's position and request. It appears as though this should have been done some time ago. Before you even purchased it, you ended up buying a problem. I understand that. I also understand Mr. Buck's comment about precedent setting. I think this is a little different because the cash in lieu here is not going to do anything for extra open space of what you're not expanding, what you're building to reduce open space there. So because of that, I don't think that the impact is there, and I will make the motion that we do grant the waiver for the open space fee to be not charged.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
Very much. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we got to close this.
Public hearing.
We got to close the public hearing first. So motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. Now, with that, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 2:05. Thank you.